What do you mean, take her pillow? Take whose pillow? And which pillow am I taking, the right or the left? What? She uses both of them every single day. Hey, well, I'm talking about the pillows on her bed. What are you talking about? That's what I thought. These jokes are just writing themselves at this point. I was going to turn off vibrant visuals, finally, and I was going to turn my PC off for the day after the last video, but after seeing that, I couldn't resist. I had to put that on there. I had to make that comment somewhere, somehow. They never specified what pillow and whose I'd be taking, so... yeah. Well, with all that being said, let's go ahead and get back to this place. It is I, Menace Snowdecker, and welcome back to another YouTube video of BeyBlade Land. And we are currently building Killer Befall, Evil Beyfowl, Killer Beyfowl. However the heck it is you pronounce this name that I cannot seem to grasp anymore, even though I thought I understood it, but I don't, because translating Japanese to English can be very taxing on the mind sometimes. I thought the Beys name was Spriggan. No, it's Sprisen. It's Spriggan. It's Sprisen. It's Spriggan. It's Sprisen. No, in Japanese it's Spriggan. In American, I'm sorry, in English, it's Sprisen. Spriggan, Sprisen. Shut up. Just a constant little back and forth. It never seems to end, does it? Okay, so today I'm going to be starting on the metal layer, which is very nice. We have progressed nicely with this. This has actually been a lot easier so far than I actually thought it was going to be, which makes me very happy. Because the last time I ever tried to build one of these metal fight bays in Minecraft, it turned out absolutely horrible. But to be fair, I was building without a reference, and I wasn't as experienced of a builder back then as I am now. At least with building BeyBlades. It was like, I don't even remember, like 3, 4, 5 years ago, something like that. I don't remember the full number, but it was several years ago, and I'm more happy with where I am now than I was back then. So that's that. Okay, I'm gonna need these two mostly for this one. Red stained glass and stone. Now, before I continue, I need to do something else here real quick. Or do I? Hang on. No, come back. Just drop my part. Stop it! Butterfingers. Okay, well that's fascinating. So the section here that holds up the metal layer is just a tiny bit bigger than the face bowl, but keeps just about the same shape. Well, more or less if I fully define it. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to build this right where that is and hope it lines up correctly. I hope. And then I'm just going to extend it by one block on all the way around. Yeah, I get the solid red here. Okay, so 4, okay. I guess we can start with that. Very slow, very taxing work. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Huh, that actually fits almost perfectly on top of there. I am so glad I made those measuring tools. This works out perfectly for me. Huh. Yeah, then we add corners here, because there's a point. Let's see, I got it facing this way, so what area would that look like here? Okay, I gotta make another measuring tool here before I continue any further, because I actually am gonna need this for recreating these over time. So, on 1, 2, 3, 4. Did I extend that by 1 all the way around? Well, this just got a little bit trickier for me now, didn't it? The one out there is the final wall, so I have to add another one here. I gotta add another block all the way around. No! What have I just done? There we go. Okay. So now we're at the proper size. The hole in the middle here, this part stays. This takes away my time, but it's a much needed part that I'm gonna have to do here. It gets rounded out. All the way around. And then based on this design, I'd say it gets brought up about 3 times. Or I guess 2, technically, since I already have 1 layer. Now, where do I go from here? So it just about keeps the hexagonal shape here, but it changes quite vividly. So whereas for back here, this would be about 5. This section goes further out. But this is where it starts changing for the whole setup here. if you were to connect all the sides here, it would be a hexagon, but this doesn't form a hexagon at all. If I had to say this was anything at all, I'd have to say it reminds me of a frog, actually. Something a little bit more like this. How the heck am I supposed to recreate that? I mean, I guess that works, but that's not... I don't know. This design is just a little bit too weird. I can't exactly recreate this in Minecraft fully, so I'm going to have to go with the best I can possibly do here. This section gets deleted both ways around. This section gets deleted both ways around. There's a bit more space in here, so I guess we can just do that. Not the prettiest thing in the world, but that's just what I'm gonna have to go with here. Yeah, it's a really odd shape. Alright, now I gotta go recreate that over here. Just so I don't forget it. I already forgot the measurement. Okay, 3, 2, 3, okay. That's fine. That's fine. Let's just start with that. We'll start with that. It'll be okay. It'll be okay. I feel like I'm making a science experiment. I don't feel like I'm building a BeyBlade anymore. Okay. You know what? Let's just use a gold block here. It'll be easier to measure. There we go. Shockingly, yes, that is pretty much what it looks like on top of there. If you just build that up 3 times. There is a small curving section on the inside where you get the screw in the face bolt, but that's not really going to show up. So just going to skip that part. Okay, now we start building the metal layer. I'm going to be using stone because it's a lot easier for me to build it in a more realistic manner. Not really much of a downside to this whatsoever. At least not for me. Alright, so where do I begin with this? I guess we can just start with the basics. Wait, hold on. I just realized I did that wrong. Hold on. My bad. Sorry. I thought I had that spacing right. That's my fault. I just wasted my own time. There we go. Okay, now that that's out of the way, officially. Now let's start on this. Okay. So the metal contacts there, and all the way around the sides here. However, there are 2 small gaps on both ends. And also another one right in here. So gap, gap. There we go. Hooray, we're finally getting a proper shadow. At least I hope. eh. This one's gonna be a little bit tricky. These sections angle. Only a little bit, though. Hmm. How do I recreate this? Very tricky. Okay, well, this section gets a piece of metal that goes right on top of it all the way around. Helps with securing the whole metal layer to the bay itself. It goes over the top and then straight down. But it doesn't fill inside that gap, it fills just outside here. So there's a very small section of space, a really tiny air pocket here. Kinda like that. And this is where the metal layer sits. Adding to that, I just deleted something here that I shouldn't have. There we go. That's better. And this section of metal extends outward, right to about where the blades stop. And this all becomes one solid piece of metal. I got a ladybug flying around. I don't know if anybody's seen it on the little camera at all, but there is a ladybug in here and it is flying around. It's kind of nice, actually. It's a little bit relaxing having nature around me, but at the same time, it's like, man, you pick now to fly? Okay. Okay, yeah, that's right. I'm not going to create a measuring piece for this one because it's literally the exact same size as the last one, just extends on top of it. And these parts I do know for certain change up depending on the piece you're using. I mean, overall it is similar on each one, but it's also different. So I'm just not going to copy that. I'm not going to create a measuring piece for this one because I'm not worried about that at all. It literally sits around that. So yeah, that should be fine. What I can do here, though, this whole section creates a circle in which the top frame piece is going to sit. So I can measure this out all the way around, create a perfect circle, or at least close to it in Minecraft terms. And this will help me tremendously. So, without counting accurately whatsoever, this should be about 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Bingo, right on the spot. Perfect. Add in a piece of metal here. Oh, wait. Oh, no. I am so glad that I caught myself. That would have been a mistake. Hold on. I did something wrong. I did something horribly wrong. Okay, for starters, I made the blades a little bit too thin. I see that now, because these actually extend out in a thicker spiral than I realized till now. The very tips of these blades should go out much further. So I am going to have to fix that here shortly. But I made this a little bit too long here, so let's just go and shave that off a little bit. That much should do the trick. How much is that? Alright, down to 5. My bad. Okay, that's better. I'll have to come back to these later, but for right now, I gotta get this piece done. Got to measure this out as best as I possibly can here. Curse me and my bottomless sense of humor. I deeply want to crack jokes right now, but this is not a joking matter. This is a serious matter. I didn't extend that far enough. I thought I did. Yeah, I suppose that works. After I'm done building this all the way around, we'll take a look and see where we have to go from here. Alright, that's out of the way. Get rid of these. I mean, it's starting to feel like a BeyBlade. A full one, anyways. Keywords here on starting to. Is it just coincidental that the shadow reminds me of some of the other layers that existed in the time of Burst? Guess that is just a coincidence, huh? Fine, I'll add one more section there. It'll make it feel better. It'll look better, it'll feel better. I keep misclicking today. I don't know why that is. It could be the fact that I just woke up and I started recording. That might have a small factor to play in this manner of mine. I don't know. You know, a lot of people don't really appreciate how long it takes to make a build. They watch some reel where somebody professionally edits everything together, and they think, man, that's amazing. I can only imagine how long that took. But the moment somebody does a video like this, where they're painstakingly measuring out everything and building it up, not some professional edit, no added music, no cheesy trending tunes or songs, suddenly they just don't want to watch. This is the real hard work behind it. And people need to understand that it is painstaking. It is hard labor. It works you out mentally. Okay, so there's two small sections that remain open here. Yeah, there seems fine. Goes to about there. That feels about right. Okay. Now I just gotta recreate this all the way around. There we go. And then the rest of this should be filled in. And that should give us the design for the center section of the Metal Fight Bay itself. You know, I really thought that a lot of this was going to be a lot more stressful, but this has actually turned out to be downright peaceful. I can't recall the last time I felt this peaceful building something from real life in Minecraft. Already looks like a frame piece. That is amazing. Oh, we're almost out of time. No, I wanted to keep going. All right, I got a little bit more time, so I'll do a little bit more here. There's a section of metal here that holds up the next piece. But it only curves on 2 sections because they only added it twice. This singular piece is used to identify left and right rotations for the Metal Fight series. So I'm just clarifying that right now. That's not fully accurate, but that is about as close as I'm going. Actually, no, wait, hang on. Yeah, that feels a tad better. Okay, I can work with that. Well, that gives us the whole center ring section. I'll have to start on the rest of that next time. Based on this design, I'm going to have to extend the blades by probably 1 or 2 blocks. But other than that, I was basically right on the money with the whole design. I wasn't too far off. Not bad. I didn't get to do as much as I had hoped here. I was hoping to at least have the framework for the outside built by the end of the video. But with the drawback for the part I had to build here, it's understandable that I didn't get to go as far as I wanted. Not really much more I can do here. Most I can do is measure out how thick this piece is. based on the thickness of the metal, I'm going to guess about 5 blocks around should do it. So I'll just add 5 blocks all the way around here, and then we can start chiseling it out and adding to it from there. Too far. The whole design for the metal on this one kind of reminds me of snakes. It's just 2 snakes coiling around each other, protecting everything here in the middle. What I'm going to do here, I'm just going to match this with this piece. It'll be the easiest way to measure it. All the way around. I'm going to add more to it later, don't worry. Right now I'm just trying to get the basic shaping. Needs to be just a little bit thicker. Yeah, something like that. Okay. Then I'll come back and I'll strengthen that up all the way around. Because this is a very thick piece of metal for BeyBlade to have. Okay. That's going to be it for this video. I mean, I didn't get to go as far as I wanted for this one. I was hoping to at least have this whole ring done by the time I finished, but I still got pretty close to that. And honestly, I've done a pretty good job here. Give myself a pat on the back. I mean, even though it's not finished, you gotta admit, it does look like a frame piece for BeyBlade. I'd say I've done a pretty good job here. Alright, well thank you everybody so much for watching. If you liked the video, then give it a like. If you want to see more, then please subscribe. And like always, this is Menace Snowdecker signing off, and I will see you next time, so bye-bye. Have a great day, everybody. Don't forget to smile, because remember, a smile a day goes a long way. I hope to see you all back here again soon. Hey, one more thing before you go. Could you please check out the links in the description below? Give them a follow. And join the Discord server as well. Recommend some more games for me to play, and while you're at it, how about you recommend some more BeyBlades for me to build? Thank you. Have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye.